Hi and welcome to On Two Wheels. In today's video, I'm going to show you the latest ARX Rally Tower and walk you through the different components and the installation process of the tower onto a DRZ400. So stay tuned. So in today's video, I'll be upgrading my Rally Tower to the latest version. So the version you see here is the first one we came up with, and this has been an important learning experience and a kind of a test bed for a few different components. And based on all these learnings, the new version has kind of come out to be a lot better. And that design looks a little bit nice in our opinion. So in this video, you will get to see all the different components in the ARX Rally Tower and see how it all comes together and fits onto the bike. So on a high level, if I look at all the components that are on this tower, they're all changing. Everything except the frame mounts will be replaced. So it's going to be a new screen, a new dashboard, new main plate, and pretty much new lighting system as well. So before I take apart the old tower, I'll walk you through the components of the new tower. So let's get started. So first we've got the main brackets. So these brackets clamp onto the bike's frame. So that means you don't need to weld or drill anything into your bike's frame. So basically, you can take the tower apart and put the bike back into its original form without any damage. Next, we've got the main plates. So this is essentially the main component that everything else bolts onto. So these are laser cut and the two sides are slightly different. On one side, we've got the ARX logo, and the other side, we've got mounting points for a fuse box. Next, we've got the main plate. So this is the main dashboard. So as you see, it's got a few different mounting points which are standard for standard devices. For example, this is for a RAM mount. This is for, I think, a Garmin GPS, again a RAM mount. And then we've got the standard 12-volt power outlet, which can also be used for your ignition key, some standard holes for light switches, and any other toggle switches, as well as some generic cutouts to fit any accessories or any other switches that you might have. So again, these are all made out of 3mm aluminum that's been CNC cut. So it's got a nice finish, and the powder coating makes sure that the color will stay as is. So these are the next two components. So this is used to mount the dashboard to the rest of the bike. So it's got the right angle to pretty much fasten the dashboard onto. So then we've got the slightly different colored ones. So I've gone with white because white matches my bike. But when you place an order, you can choose from a spectrum of colors so that it lets you personalize your tower and helps the tower integrate into your bike a bit better. Next, we've got two more mounts. So this is used to mount the windscreen itself. Two more windscreen mounts, and the two last windscreen mounts. So we've got a total of 6 windscreen mounts, which means the screen is going to be held nice and firm and won't be moving around in the wind. Next, we've got the headlight itself. The light is one that's originally designed for the KTM. The reason we've gone with this is because this is ADR compliant, which means it's road legal. So you won't have any legal issues if you were to put the tower on and be stopped by the police. Next, we've got the extra mount for the spotlight. If you've got an additional spotlight or a high beam light, this will be right above the headlight and you can mount your spotlight onto this. So the Dakar Tower comes with an additional spotlight, but at the same time, if you've got your own lights, you could use this mount to mount your own lights onto the tower. Next, we have the biggest change, or at least from the outside, which is the new screen. So as you see, the screen has a cutout for the headlight, and it's got a slightly revised design. And you'll notice there's a couple of different holes for the screen mounts. So this is because the dash plate is now adjustable. So depending on your preference on how you like to see your dash. So for example, if you like to see it at a more horizontal angle or a more vertical angle, these adjustments actually lets you customize it and have it at an angle that works for you. So to accommodate that, we've got multiple holes on the screen, just so that the screen is held without having to bend or re-drill the brackets or the screen. So the last part is the new decal. So this decal actually goes at the bottom of your screen. And again, this is something that can be customized. So based on the color scheme on your bike or your preference, you could choose whichever decal you like when you place an order. So something else that I learned with my previous tower was that spray painting doesn't really work very well. It stays fine for a few minutes, but as soon as it's got some metal on metal contact, it starts to peel off. So when I look at the frame mounts, I see that the paint has actually chipped away quite a bit, which is not very nice. You don't see it, but like it is noticeable. And the same can be said for the tower itself. So when you look at the tower, you see that there's quite a bit of paint that's chipped off. So this all chipped off while I was putting things together. So essentially this arm was scratching up against this and just peeled it right off. So the lesson from that was it's a little bit more expensive, but the powder coating is definitely the way to go. It's worth the money. So this is the wire that I used to power my 12-volt power outlet. So here I have the entire tower that I just took off. Literally took me minutes, and putting the new one on should be just as fast. So in the new tower, we've actually expanded the gap between these plates just so that you can use this space to store all your wires and other auxiliary devices. So the installation process requires you to take the tank off the bike and the seat, which isn't that big a deal. So I've taken that off, and the frame mounts are now connected to the bike. So the frame mounts, as you see, are right over here, and they are clamping up against the frame. So when you grab them, you could feel it's definitely not moving. So it's a nice fixed firm mounting. So it should be good to go. And now I'm going to start mounting the actual Rally Tower main plates onto the frame mounts. So I have now connected the main plates of the Rally Tower onto the bike. So as you see, they are pretty nice and firm. Don't move very easily. It's just finger tight. It's not even properly tightened. And now I'm going to start mounting the rest of the plates onto this. So next I'm going to put together the dashboard. So that's the dashboard and the mounts for the dashboard together. And I'll pre-assemble this before putting that on the bike. That will actually save me a bit of trouble of trying to maneuver things while it's already assembled. I've had to take a bit of a break because I had some other things come up. So right now I'm going to proceed from where I left off. So in the last video that I recorded, we had just put the main plates on, and in the meantime I've also just added the top plate or the bracket for the spotlight on. I've just clamped it in between the two main plates, and I'm going to proceed to put all the other bolts and spacers through the different holes. So I'm going to start off with probably the bottom bracket because it's probably the easiest to do, and then I'll proceed to the top ones. So just to make the whole thing a little bit nicer and cleaner, so what I have done is disconnected all the wires and plugs and pretty much stored all of them inside the void between the tower. So that makes sure that this area stays clean and all the wires can kind of be kept securely inside. And another benefit is that because most of the wire harness is going to be static with the bike frame. It no longer moves back and forth a lot when the handle moves. So the only parts that do move are these wires, and they have enough slack to move around. So now I've got most of the components assembled. So as you see, the main plates are ready, a couple of the windshield mounts are ready. The wires are nicely tucked inside. So this is probably one of the biggest advantages in the new tower, as I mentioned. Then I've got the two adjustable brackets for the dashboard ready. It's only finger tight, so it gives me a bit of flexibility until I finalize the exact position I want it in. I've also got the spotlight mount ready, and next I'm going to put the dashboard on. So as you see, I've got the dash plate already pre-assembled. So what I need to do is mount this onto the bike and start tightening it up. So it will go in like this, and it'll have that adjustment over here, and I'll start tightening it up. At this point, I've got all the components except the shield on the bike already. So now I just need to put the screen on. So the screen itself has 6 main bolts, and these bolts are going to essentially go fasten on the side, at the bottom front, and the top front. So to make sure that the windscreen assembly is easy, I keep these a bit loose, which gives me a bit of flexibility. And the screen itself is 3mm polycarbonate, so it's not going to break. It's just going to flex, but the 3mm means it's going to be a bit rigid. So any bit of flexibility that I can get through folding or through loose brackets, I'm going to use. So I've now started installing the screen onto the bike. As you see, I first did up the 2 bottom bolts. So because these are probably the most rigid points. So did these first, then I came around, folded this, and got this bolt in. Now I'm going to go around and do the bolt on the right hand side. And last, I'm going to do the bolt at the top. So I've now finally finished assembling all the components of the tower, right down from the frame mount to the main plate, the screen, the dashboard, and spotlight. So the bike is technically ready to ride. It's just that I haven't done the wiring yet. So the wiring and the electrical accessories I might keep for another day and another video. But for now, the bike is ready to be ridden. So as you see, I've chosen a decal that kind of goes along with my bike's color scheme. So it kind of blends in really well. At the same time, I've got my switches and things that I'm ready to put on. I'll have my camera mount here. So as you see, all the wires are nicely tucked inside the tower area. So that kind of keeps this area a bit clean. So the screen height is actually designed to a level there where it doesn't obstruct your view, because you don't want a screen that's too tall and obstructs your way and looking at what's ahead of you. But at the same time, you do want a screen that's tall enough to deflect all the wind. So this screen we've ridden with and pretty much done quite a few highway miles, and we realized that this height really works. And like I said, I've not done the wiring on this tower yet. The wiring will probably be a new video. So if you're getting the ARX tower, there's 2 versions you can go for. First is the ARX Rally Light. So with that tower, you get the frame mounts, the main plate, the entire dashboard, screen, and the screen decal, and the headlight. So the next model is a nicer one with all the bells and whistles. So that's called the ARX Duck Up. So that tower, in addition to what you saw with the Rally Light, you will be getting an electrical system. So essentially a fuse box, a couple of switches, the spotlight, as well as a wire harness that goes up to the bike's battery, as well as a relay to turn it on and off when necessary. So this will be useful if you don't have any sort of wiring or electrical accessories on your bike now and you want to start a project from the beginning, because it will pretty much come with a setup that you could plug and play essentially. So right now the ARX Tower is available for the DRZ400 and the DR650, and soon there'll be a WR250 as well as the KTM mount and a few other mounts as well. So with that, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope you found this useful. So if you have any questions about the Rally Tower, the design, the installation, or even the models or what's available, please leave a comment and I'll make sure it's answered. But at the same time, if you've got any feedback or suggestions, also leave them in the comment section. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to On Two Wheels so that you'll be able to follow my rally project as well as other videos. And don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you're the first to know as soon as a video is released. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.